Hey, I'm right behind you now. I'm going to be up in a second.
All right.
You go on ahead. I'm not going
The ladies' dressing room is upstairs. Miss Kate and Miss Julie are waiting for you.
Thank you, Lily. We'll see you upstairs then.
Ready up.
Miss Furlong, Miss O'Callaghan, and Miss Higgins coming up, Miss Kate.
Is there no sign of my nephew yet?
No, ma'am.
Where can Gabriel be? I just pray to heavens he gets here before Freddie Mallons.
Ah, Miss Callahan, how delighted I am to see you. And you, Miss Furlong. And you, Miss Higgins. Oh, what a surprise to have Mary Jane's three favourite pupils all together. Come along in now.
Where's Mary Jane? I have a present for her from Christmas.
Oh, yes, of course, you missed her lesson. Did you enjoy England?
It was lovely.
Well, Mary Jane will be up in a minute. Tell you the truth, she's basting the goose.
While I'm upstairs, keep an eye on the potatoes and see they don't boil over.
But who'll answer the door, miss? I can't hear the bell from the kitchen.
Good evening, Mr. Kerrigan.
Good evening, Miss Morgan. I'd like to meet a friend of mine, Mr. Raymond Berg.
How do you do, Mr. Berg?
How do you do?
I'm very glad you could come.
Delighted to be here.
Well, just pop down every few minutes and come straight up again, like a good girl.
I have to lay the table, miss.
Well, do your best.
Well, I'll try, but...
Good evening. Good evening.
Miss Kate, Miss Julia Morgan, may I present Mr. Raymond Bergen and Mr. Joseph Kerrigan, who was so good as to escort us here tonight.
How do you do?
Well, it's a great pleasure to meet friends of any of Mary Jane's young ladies.
Thank you for having us. We do appreciate it, Miss Morgan.
Oh, I think I remember you from last year, Mr. Kerrigan. Julia, don't you remember Mr. Kerrigan from last year?
Yes, of course, of course.
All right. Do you want to go into the dancing first, or do you want to have a refreshment?
Dancing, please.
To warm us up.
That to be sure, after your cold rise.
Mr. Callahan, Mr.
Who's that now, lady?
Mr. Brown.
Just Mr. Brown.
Isn't one of me enough for you?
More than enough, Dan. I'm sure Freddie's stewed. Oh, I'm sure he is. And when he's stewed, he's so hard to manage.
Quite impossible.
Whatever will we do?
Well, whoever's giving away gifts chose the right day for it. Sure, it's the Feast of the Epiphany. The Three Kings, the Star in the East. By right, she should have gold, frankincense, and myrrh in that.
Well, whatever it is, it smells nice.
It's some special toilet soap from Bond Street.
How thoughtful of you.
Well, frankincense and myrrh from London's West End. Miss Julia.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, thank you, Dan. Thank you.
How are you, Dan?
Oh, I'm quite put out.
Why, what's the matter?
To find out that you've been waiting for somebody other than me to arrive. I ask you.
We're worried about Freddie.
But he's taken the pledge.
Are you sure?
Of course I am. His mother made him on New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's funny. She never said a word about it. She arrived here over an hour ago.
Well, he might have succumbed.
Oh, if he has, can I call on you? You know what he's like.
Of course you can. I'll bet even money that's him now.
Oh, Mr. Conroy, Miss Kate and Miss Julie thought you were never coming. Good night, Mrs. Conroy. Good night, Lily.
Well, engaged they did, but don't forget that my wife here takes 3 mortal hours to dress herself.
Who's that now, Lily?
Miss Kate, here's Mrs. Conroy.
Thank the Lord you've arrived.
You must be perished alive.
Is Gabriel with you? Oh,
Here I am, Aunt Kate. Sighted the mail. I'll be up in a moment.
I'm Verabello's, yes.
Oh, he's a man, all right.
No.
Is it snowing again, Mr. Conroy?
It is, Lily, and I'm afraid we're in for a night of it. Tell me, Lily, you still going to school?
Oh, no, sir. I'm done schooling this year and more.
Good Lord. Seems like only yesterday. You were playing with your rag dolls on the front steps. Now, I suppose, we'll be going to your wedding one of these fine days.
The men that is now is only all palaver and what they can get out of you.
Oh, Lily, it's Christmas time, isn't it?
Oh, no, sir,
Just a
really,
little.
sir. I wouldn't take that, sir.
It's Christmas time.
Oh, really, sir?
Christmas time. One feels that one is listening to a thought-tormented music.
We've taken a room at the Gresham. It's the first time I've stayed in a hotel in 4 years.
To be sure, by far the best thing to do. And you're not anxious about the children, Greta.
Not for one night. Besides, Jessie will look after them.
Ah, to be sure. What a comfort it is to have a girl like that, one you can depend on. There's that Lily. I don't know what's come over her lately, but she's not the girl she was at all. Oh, here he is, lurking in the corridor.
Like a little boy sent out of class.
What's up with you at all, Gabriel?
He's only concerned about his speech, Aunt Kate. He's been fretting about it for days.
Nonsense, he made a wonderful job of it in the past.
It'll be fine, Gabriel, just fine.
I bet you'd both like a nice warm glass of punch.
Ah, yes, please. You know, it's really bitter out.
Greta tells me you're not going to take a cab back to Munster.
No, we had quite enough of that last year, hadn't we? cab windows rattling all the way and an east wind blowing in as soon as we were past Merriam. Very jolly it was. As for Greta here, she'd walk home in the snow if she were let.
Oh, don't mind him, Aunt Kate. He's really an awful bother. But with green shades for Tom's eyes at night and making him do the dumbbells and forcing Eva to eat the stirrup out the poor child. She simply hates the sight of it. Oh, but she'll never guess what he has me wearing now. Galoshes. That's the latest. Whenever it is wet underfoot, I must put on my galoshes. Tonight even, he wanted me to put them on, but I wouldn't. The next thing he'll buy me will be a diving suit.
Isn't that the limit?
What are galoshes, Gabriel?
Oh, goodness gracious, Julia. Don't you know what galoshes are? No. You wear them over your boots, isn't it, Greta?
Right, gutta percha things. We both have a pair now. Gabriel says everyone wears them on the continent.
Oh, on the continent? Where's Julia going? Julia!
I'm on my...
Here's Freddie, Kate.
Slip down, Gabriel, and see if he's all right. Don't you let him up here if he's stewed. Oh, he's drunk. I'm certain of it. All night we've been drinking that he would arrive here under the influence. It's such a relief when Gabriel is here. I always feel easier in my mind when he's around.
Mrs. Conroy, may I introduce you to Mr. Barton Darcy? Oh, the celebrated tenor.
Would you care to dance, Mrs. Conroy?
I'd be honored.
I was fortunate enough to attend your last concert at the 18th Concert.
Steady now, Freddie, steady.
Fine. Is my mother here?
She is.
How do I look? Do I look all right?
Bit disheveled. Now you'll pass muster.
Oh, if you'll excuse me. See, I've never been able to relieve myself in the presence of another. Otherwise, I'd have joined the army. Even as a child, when my mother...
Freddie, understand.
The same was true of my father before me. When he went racing, he'd wait until the horses were running to go to the lavatory. Anything under a mile, and he'd miss the finish.
Not so bad, is he?
Oh, no, barely noticeable.
Isn't he a terrible fellow? After his poor mother making him take the pledge on New Year's Eve.
It's a wonder he lasted the 6 days, if he did.
Tell me, what's that lovely waltz you were playing?
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's one of Moore's melodies.
I thought I recognized it.
There's no doubt but Moore's the one genius of Irish music.
Oh, sure, God help me. It's the doctor's order.
Oh, no, Mr. Brown. I'm sure the doctor never ordered anything of the kind.
I'm like the famous Mrs. Cassidy, who's reported to have said,
Now, Mary Grimes, if I don't take it, make me take it, for I feel I want it.
I don't suppose either of you two buckos know what won the big race at Punchestown.
Hello, Mr. Malins. How are you getting along?
Fine, thanks, Mr. Conroy. Just fine.
Anything I can get you?
No, thanks. I'm grand. My boy Freddie here, is he?
Yes.
How is he? Is he all right?
He's nearly all right.
that bad? Oh, he's not to be trusted out of my sight. Quadrille, 2 gentlemen and 3 ladies.
Yes, Mr. Duffy and Mr. Egan. Oh, Mr. Egan, will you take Miss Power? Miss Furlong, may I get you a partner? Mr. Duffy? That'll just do now.
3 ladies.
Oh, Miss Daly, you're really awfully good after playing for the last 2 dances. But really, we're so short of ladies tonight. I don't mind.
Well, I suppose you enjoy living in Glasgow now.
Sure, why wouldn't I? Sure, my daughter got the most lovely little house there at the edge of the city, just where the tram starts. Oh, it's a great joy to me to be with the children.
How old are they now?
Well, little Bert's just rising 7, while Karen is 5 and a bit. Sure, children are perfect at that age, as you know.
Indeed.
And I've got my own little room there on the ground floor, overlooking the garden, so I don't need to be climbing the stairs.
Have you heard the latest about old man Gallagher and the young one?
No, what have they been up to now?
You see, her mother came up from the farm in Sligo, and she brought with her this great big basket, you see, and she left it on the kitchen table, and when Gallagher came in by himself, he thought he saw it move. What do you think she had in it?
I've no idea.
Well, you see, the sow had only farrowed the week before, and it was the runt of the litter. And as they hadn't had any children, she thought she'd bring them a piglet for company. for the young one to practice on in the meantime.
My son-in-law takes us all on holiday for a fortnight at a hotel in the Highlands where he can go fishing. Oh, he's a great fisher altogether. He even ties his own flies. And one day, he caught a fish. Oh, the most beautiful big fish you ever saw. And the man in the hotel boiled it for our dinner.
How interesting.
I think the man said that it was...
I think I'll try and find Freddie for you,
Some sort of trout.
Can you imagine old man Gallagher with a piglet for company?
Freddie,
what?
Your mother's looking for you. Now you should go in.
Into the valley of death rode the 600.
Omar, where were you? We were supposed to meet for tea at the Shelburne.
Sorry, I was detained.
What detained?
I was at a committee meeting.
A committee meeting? Where was it? In Mulligan's pub? Attention, everybody!
Now, as our Mary Jane has so many of her young and talented students here tonight, I hope you'll all join with me in prevailing upon her to give us a small demonstration of her musical skills.
Plays the organ somewhere, doesn't she, Gabriel?
Yes, Haddington Road.
What did I tell you?
Let's have an old jar.
Bravo!
And now, let us have a recitation. Mr. Grace, would you beguile us yet again?
It's me. I have to perform. Thank you, Kate. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I had intended doing a comic recitation for you this evening, but I came across something recently that I would very much like to pass on to you. It is called Broken Vows. It is late last night. The dog was speaking of you. The snipe was speaking of you in her deep marsh. It is you are the lonely bird throughout the woods, and that you may be without a mate until you find me. You promised me, and you said a lie to me, that you would be before me where the sheep are flocked. I gave a whistle and 300 cries to you, and I found nothing there but a bleating lamb. You promised me a thing that has hard got you. A ship of gold under a silver mast, 12 towns, and a market in all of them, and a fine white court by the side of the sea. You promised me a thing that is not possible, that you would give me gloves of the skin of a fish, that you would give me shoes of the skin of a bird, and a suit of the dearest silk in Ireland. My mother told me not to be talking with you today or tomorrow or on Sunday. It was a bad time she took for telling me that. It was shutting the door after the house was robbed. You have taken the east from me. You have taken the west from me. You have taken what is before me and what is behind me. You have taken the moon. You have taken the sun from me. And my fear is great. You have taken God from me. It's a translation from the Irish by Lady Gregory.
It's very strange, but beautiful.
I've never heard anything like it.
Very mysterious. Imagine being in love like that.
I thought it was beautiful.
It was lovely.
It would make a lovely song.
Yes, Lily, what is it?
The goose will be ready in half an hour, ma'am.
Very good.
And, ma'am, I just put fresh towels in the toilet.
Very good, Lily. Now back to the dancing. Lancers! I think it's about time you had a dance. Now come along with me. I have the perfect partner for you. Miss Ivers, I think you know my nephew. He hasn't broken out of a walk since he came through that door. I'm relying on you to give him a little tap behind the ribs.
I'll be delighted.
I think a canter would do him good.
I have a crow to pluck with you.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Who is GC? I have found out that you write for the Daily Express. Now, aren't you ashamed of yourself?
Oh, why should I be ashamed of myself?
Well, I'm ashamed of you. To say you'd write for an English rag like that. I didn't think you were a West Briton.
Oh, what do you mean, a West Briton?
Someone who looks to England for our salvation instead of depending on ourselves alone. You come for an excursion to the Aran Isles this summer. We're going to stay there a whole month. It'll be splendid out in the Atlantic. You ought to come. Mr. Clancy's coming. Mr. Kilkelly. Kathleen Carney. It'd be splendid for your wife, too, if she could come. She's from that part of the world. Connaught, isn't she?
Oh, people are.
But you will come, won't you?
No, the fact is I've already arranged to go.
Go where?
Well, every year I go on a cycling tour with some fellas.
But where?
Well, France or Belgium and Germany, perhaps.
And why do you go to France and Belgium instead of visiting your own land?
Well, it's partly to keep in touch with the languages, and partly for a change.
Haven't you your own language to keep in touch with? Irish.
Oh, no, if it comes to that, Irish is not my language.
Haven't you your own land to visit that you know nothing of? Your own people? Your own country?
To tell you the truth, I'm sick of my own country. I'm sick of it.
Why?
Oh, there we are.
Why? Of course, you've no answer. West Britain.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered. I will not write. I will not attempt. It is my note.
And Kate wants to know, won't you carve the goose as usual? Miss Daly will carve the ham and I'll do the pudding.
Yeah, all right.
Why did you stop dancing? What row had you with Molly Ivers?
No, no row. Why did she say we had?
No, I noticed you carrying on, that's all. I'm trying to get that Mr. Darcy to sing. He's full of conceit, I think.
Oh, there was no row. Only she wanted me to go on a trip to the west of Ireland, and I said I wouldn't.
Oh, Gabriel, do go. Oh, I'd love to see Galway again.
Well, you can go if you like.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen. My sister, Miss Julia Morgan, after much coaxing, has consented to sing a song, one of her favourites from her concert days, Arrayed for the Bridal.
Arrayed for the Bridal by Bellini.
Arrayed for the bridal, in beauty behold her, a white wreath entwined.
I was just telling my mother I never heard you sing so well. No, I never heard your voice so good as it is tonight. Now, do you believe that now? That's the truth. Upon my word of honor, that is the truth. I never heard your voice so clear, so fresh. Never.
You'll turn my head. All your compliments.
Miss Julia Morgan, my latest discovery.
But now, Brown, if you are serious, you might make a worse discovery. Because all I can say is I never heard her sing half as well as long as I'm coming here. And that is the honest truth.
Neither did I. I think her voice has greatly improved.
30 years ago, I hadn't a bad voice as voices go.
Oh, I often told Julia she was thrown away on that choir. But she never would be said by me. No, she never would be said or led by anyone. Slaving away there night and day, 6 o'clock on a Christmas morning. And for what?
Well, isn't it for the honour of God, Aunt Kate?
I know all about the honour of God, Mary Jane. I don't think it's very honourable of the Pope to throw the women out of the choirs that's been there for years, slaving away, and put little whippersnappers of boys over their heads. Well, I suppose it is for the good of the church if the Pope says so, but it's not right, and it's not just.
Now, Aunt Kate, you're giving scandal to Mr. Brown, who's of the other persuasion.
Oh, I don't question the Pope's being right. I'm just a stupid old woman. I wouldn't presume to do such a thing. But there is such a thing as common, everyday politeness and gratitude. And if I were in Julia's place, I'd just tell that Father Healy straight up into his face.
And besides, Aunt Kate, we really are all hungry. And when we are hungry, we are all very quarrelsome.
And when we are thirsty, we are also quarrelsome.
So that we had better go to supper and finish the discussion afterwards.
Will all the gentlemen please bring a chair?
Molly, you're not leaving, are you?
Yes, I must.
But you can't go before supper.
But I'm not in the least bit hungry, I assure you.
Ah, but only for 10 minutes, Molly. Surely that won't delay you.
To take a pick itself after all your dancing.
I really can't.
Well, if you really are obliged to go, I'd be glad to see you home.
I'm not going home. I'm off to a meeting.
What kind of a meeting?
A union one at Liberty Hall. James Connolly is speaking.
As you mean a Republican meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're the comical girl, Molly.
She'll be the only woman there.
It won't be the first time. Well, good night, all. Bannot live.
Everybody's in here, stage to let, and no budget to carve the goose.
Oh, here I am, Aunt Kate, ready to carve a flock of geese if necessary. No, sorry.
Bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts, which of thy bounty we are about to receive through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Miss Daly, what shall I send you? Wing or a slice of breast?
A small slice of breast, please. That's Mr. Brown.
Who's this?
That's yours, then. Mr. Grace.
Oh, thank you. Just a moment. Is this mine?
Yes.
How about you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Miss Furlong, what will you have?
Oh, anything at all, Mr. Conroy. You've got to start eating immediately. That goose was not cooked to get cold standing in front of you.
Well, everything looks absolutely delicious, Miss Morgan.
It's not too dry, is it?
It looks splendid, Miss Morgan.
Normally, I'm not at all that partial to goose. Usually it's so tough. But in this case, I take back all my former judgments.
You know that I have always preferred goose to turkey. Turkey to me tastes like chicken soaked in water and then wrung out.
The older we get, the more flavour we like. Where's the applesauce?
I'm sorry, there isn't any.
No applesauce.
I told you we should have applesauce. Plain roast goose without applesauce has always been good enough for me, and I hope I may never eat worse.
That's right, Aunt Kate. Stand up to your principles. But will you and Aunt Julia sit down and have your supper?
Time enough.
Will you stop fussing around like a couple of broody hens?
Now, please don't concern yourselves about us. Please just enjoy yourselves.
Well, how can we when you're buzzing around like bees in a jam jar?
Come on. Sit yourself down and proclaim yourself queen. There we go. Now, Aunt Julia, you must sit down. You're standing up far too long. There we go. Now.
Do you think I could have the wishbone, Mr. Conroy?
Certainly.
Must be a big wish you're going to make, hmm?
It is.
I hope we were sharing the same wish.
Have any of you seen the new production at the Theatre Royal?
I have. Indeed, a number of us have.
What did you think of it?
Oh, it was so beautiful, I can't describe it. My God, when you hear Rudolfo's aria, what's it called?
Che gelida del manina.
You hardly want to go on living.
What?
It gave me goose pimples all down my arms.
What did? Your tiny hand is frozen.
Funny, I'm boiling. Why don't you go over to the fireplace and warm them up?
Freddie, you have it all wrong.
Well, sure, if her hands are cold.
It's the name of a song.
What song? What are you talking about?
Explain it to him, will you?
How many of you were there last night?
I was there 5 nights ago for the opening.
Most of us were.
Well, you can count yourselves lucky. I had the misfortune to go last night. Bedushi was indisposed and his understudy had to take over. Need I say it was the chance of a lifetime. The sort of a thing a man dreams about.
And what happened?
How'd he get on?
It wasn't his voice, which was moderate, a little bit thin and unsteady on top.
What then?
His diction is about as artistic as an auctioneer at a cattle fair. Rough is no word for it. 'Twas brutal, and this to project the greatest pearls that ever dripped from a composer's pen, with the sole exception of Verdi.
I heard that Verdi's morals were dubious. Oh, very dubious indeed.
But what a genius. And what respect the common Italian people had for him. Sure, when he was dying, they covered the street outside his window with straw so he wouldn't be disturbed by the noise of their carts. Would that have happened in Ireland?
Oh, no. Oh, I suppose not. He would have been ruined by a woman, just like poor Parnell. When I think...
Gentlemen, please, no politics.
Sorry, Kate, sorry.
Keep these discussions for your committee meetings. Mr. Darcy, what did you think of the other roles?
I must say, Madame Devereux has a lovely timbre. Great homogeneity of tone. How should I put it? She's an embrocation.
Well, after all, she's their leading contralto.
I hope none of you experts will laugh at me, but do you know, I found her style of production rather vulgar.
Have any of you been to the panto at the Gaiety? Because now there's a Negro chieftain singing in the second part of it that's got one of the finest tenor voices I've ever heard.
You don't say.
I do. I do. Have you heard him? Because now I'd be curious to hear your opinion of him. I think he has a grand voice.
Trust Teddy to find out all the good things.
Well, why can't he have a voice too? Is it because he's only a black? No, Why do you insist on calling me Teddy? My name is Freddy, as you well know.
Theodore Alfred Mullins. First things first, I say. Theodore. Teddy.
You know, one of my girls gave me a pass for Mignon. Of course, it was very fine, but seeing it again made me think of poor Georgina Burns.
Burns. Yes, I remember. The young Scottish soprano. She died very young, didn't she?
When I was just a little girl. Of pneumonia. Caught from not looking after her throat after singing, they said.
Very tragic, very tragic. Of course, I can remember even further back than that, to the great days of bel canto, when the old Italian opera companies used to come to Dublin. Tietjens, Ilma de Murska, Campanini, Ravelli, Guglini, Aramburo, the great Trebelli. Oh, those were the days. Those were the days when something like singing was to be heard in Dublin.
The top gallery of the old Theatre Royal used to be packed night after night.
Yes. And then I recall on one occasion a young Italian tenor singing 5 encores to Lit Me Like a Soldier Fall and introducing a high C every time.
Just you to remember the high C's always, Mr. Grace.
And then, of course, when some prima donna made a hit, the gallery boys in their enthusiasm would unyoke the horses from the carriage and pull it themselves from the theatre to her hotel.
Oh, God be with the days.
I wonder why they don't play the grand old operas now. Dinora, Lucretia Borgia. Because they don't have the voices to sing them, that's why.
Oh, well, I presume there are as good singers today as there were then.
Where are they?
In London, Paris, Milan. I suppose Caruso, for example, is quite as good, if not better, than any of the men you mentioned.
Maybe so, but I may tell you I doubt it.
Oh, I'd give anything to hear Caruso sing.
For me, there was only one tenor. To please me, I mean. Oh, I don't suppose any of you ever heard of him.
Who was he, Miss Merkin?
His name was Parkinson. I heard him when he was in his prime. I think then he had the purest tenor voice ever put into a man's throat.
Strange, I never even heard of him.
Haven't you, Darcy? Nevertheless, Miss Morkan is right. I certainly have heard of old Parkinson, although I never had the pleasure of listening to him.
A pure, sweet, mellow English tenor.
Excuse me, ma'am. The pudding is ready to be served now.
May I congratulate the chef?
Aunt Julia made it all by herself.
Miss Morkan, it is a work of art.
It looks delicious. I was afraid it wasn't quite brown enough.
I hope I'm brown enough for you, because you see, I'm all brown.
But could I have the celery, please? Oh, thank you. The doctor said it was a capital thing for my blood.
Wait till after the pudding.
I need something to deaden the taste.
Did Reggie tell you he's off to Mount Melleray in a week or so?
For a retreat, is it?
I hear the air down there is very bracing.
And the monks never even ask for a penny piece from their guests.
They're very hospitable, the monks.
You'll be getting plenty of celery down at Mount Melleray.
And you mean to tell me a chap can go down there and put up there as if it were a hotel and live on the fat of the land and then come away without paying a farthing?
Most people give some donation to the monastery when they leave.
I wish we had an institution like that in our church.
The monks never utter words, you know, and they get up at 2 a.m.
What's more, they sleep in their coffins.
Why? Why?
Because it's the rule of the order.
Yes, but why?
Because it's the rule, that's all.
But there has to be some sort of logic behind it.
You know the doctrine that, in the eyes of the church, we can do penance for others. This now is what Father O'Rourke explained to me. Thereby gaining indulgences, you see, remission of sins. And therefore, the monks are trying to compensate for all the sins committed by all the sinners in the outside, external world.
You mean they're trying to get us all off the hook?
Well, on the last day, you see, day of judgment.
Including agnostics, atheists, heathens, as well as you so eloquently put it, those of us of the other persuasion.
I think so.
Well, I'm all in favor of the idea, fat-headed not to be. Like getting free insurance. But wouldn't a comfortable spring bed do them as well as a coffin?
They are very good men, the monks. Very pious. The coffin is to remind them of their last end.
Yes, well, but...
Very well Gabriel, report. Greta, may I have you? That's his chair. Mr. Darcy.
No, thanks, Miss Parker. No, I'll have a glass of water later on.
A glass of sherry.
Could I...
Ladies and gentlemen, it is not the first time that we have gathered round this hospitable board as the recipients, or perhaps I had better say, the victims of the hospitality of certain good ladies. Indeed, no tradition does our country more honor than its overwhelming hospitality. Some might consider it a failing, and if so, it is a princely one. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a skeptical, and if I may use the phrase, a thought-tormented world, where the values of the past are often at a discount, but it gives me joy that under this one roof, the spirit of good, old-fashioned, warm-hearted, courteous, Irish hospitality is still alive among us. Long may it continue. And yet, in gatherings such as this, sadder thoughts will occur to our minds. Thoughts of the past, of youth, of changes, of absent friends that we miss here tonight. But our work is among the living. We must not brood or stoop to gloomy moralizing. We have all of us living duties and living affections which claim, and rightly, our strenuous endeavors. Now here we are met, momentarily away from the bustle of our everyday routines, in a spirit of good fellowship, in the true spirit of camaraderie. And as the guests of, what shall I call them? The three graces of the Dublin musical world.
What did Gabriel say? What did he say?
He says we are the three graces, Aunt Julia.
Ladies and gentlemen, I shall not attempt to play the part that Paris played in ancient times, to choose between them. The task would be an invidious one and beyond my poor powers. For when I view them in turn, whether it be our chief hostess herself, whose too good heart has become a byword with all who know her, or her sister, who seems to be gifted with perennial youth, and whose singing must have been a surprise and a revelation to us all tonight. Or last but not least, when I consider our youngest hostess, talented, cheerful, hard-working, and the best of nieces. Well, I confess I do not know to which of them I should award the prize. So let us toast them all three together. Let us drink to their health, wealth, long life, happiness, and prosperity. And may they long continue to hold the proud and self-won position they hold in their profession, and the position of honor and affection which they hold in our hearts.
For they are jolly fine fellows, for they are jolly fine fellows, for they are jolly fine fellows, which nobody can deny, unless he tells a lie, unless he tells a lie, for they are jolly fine fellows, for they are jolly fine fellows, for they are jolly fine fellows, which nobody can deny.
Oh, you're daft, both of you. Oh, look, it stopped snowing.
Racing after being inside, though. Ooh, our beds are going to be icy tonight. Be worth getting married just to keep warm.
Lovely speech. Enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Mary, thank you, my dear. Succulent veal, as usual. And Julia, thank you for a lovely evening.
My grandmother's old gardener said in November it was going to be a hard winter.
How did he know?
The almanac.
Oh.
And he said the berries were very red on the holly and that there were a lot of them. That means a hard winter.
The birds also. I heard a lot of field fares and redwings pass through early.
Are you an ornithologist as well?
An amateur. I suppose being a singer makes me susceptible to other creatures that sing. And birds are the most beautiful singers of all. Just think of the willow warbler or the wren. And in Italy I heard wonderful birds. The nightingale, of course.
Is it like in the ode of Mr. Keats?
Not at all.
Good night. Good night, all. Come along, dear. Oh, incidentally, Gabriel, I've been meaning to ask you all evening long, and I keep forgetting it. Have you finished marking the exams yet?
Almost.
Well, try and get them to me as quickly as you possibly can, so that I can post the results at first of term.
First thing Monday morning.
Thank you, my boy, thank you. Well, once again, good night, all.
We're really grateful for your hospitality, Miss Margaret. It really was a treat. Even better than last year, wasn't it, Freddie?
Was I here last year?
It was our pleasure. When do you go back to Scotland again?
Oh, on Monday. I never travel on the Lord's Day if I can help it.
And when do we have the pleasure of seeing you back in Ireland?
Well, perhaps when my son-in-law takes the family fishing. During August, the midges in the Highlands are desperate.
Freddie, will you bring a chair?
That'll be something for Freddie to look forward to, Mrs. Mallow.
Round the back there, Freddie.
Here we are. Excuse me, ladies.
Goodbye, Freddie.
Good night. Good night.
Sure, God love him. I'm sure he wasn't so bad this year.
Not at all, no.
You feel like a post stuck in the ground, Mr. Conroy. Fine, strong man. Oh, I wish the same could be said about my Freddie.
Freddie, will you go and get a cab? I'll look after your mother.
I'm on my way.
Can't help thinking when the pair of you were boys. Who would think there'd be such a difference? Will you do me a favour, Mr. Conroy?
Of course.
Will you keep an eye on him while I'm away?
I will, of course, Mrs. Mallory. He'll have every cab in Dublin out.
I think Freddie will never get married now.
Time to go home, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, wake up. It's time to go.
I've got a cab.
A good man, Freddie. You can take Mr. Brown on your way home, can't you?
I just asked my mother. Is that all right? Brown has done the same for me under similar circumstances.
Way of our way home. And my leg is hurting me.
So, Mother, I owe it to her.
Oh, I wish you could get away from that man. Put Brown in first. I don't want to get kicked when you are sorting him out.
27 Munster Road, Dolphin's Barn. Then head straight on for Rathmines.
Excuse me, sir.
What?
How would I find that place?
You don't know how to get to Rathmines?
No, sir, nor the other place.
You're not a Dublin man, are
No,
you,
sir.
driver? Somewhere from the west of Ireland.
You're a grand man, sir, the Aran Islands.
How well do you know Dublin, or Ballia, as you call it out there?
Mind my back.
Badly, sir. As a matter of fact, I'm not really a cab driver. Just helping the sister's husband to make a few extra bob over the Christmas. In fact, sir, I was lost when Your Honour found me.
How are you, Mother? Are you comfortable?
I am not. Could you wedge a pillow under my knee?
Will I get a pillow inside?
It's not necessary. There's plenty of pillows in here.
And put one on the floor under my foot.
If the driver doesn't mind.
I'm sure they've been used for other purposes. Going twice around the park.
You watch your tongue, Brown, in the presence of my mother. How's that?
Oh, it'll do.
Well, do you know where you are now?
Just about, sir.
Do you know how to get to Trinity College?
Trinity College? I believe I do, sir.
Right drive, bang up against its gates, and I'll tell you where to go from there.
Fly like
sir.
a bird to Trinity College.
Right you are, ma'am. Come on. Get up, get up.
You forgot your thingamajigs, Mr. Conroy.
My galoshes, Lily, my galoshes. Where on earth is this wife of mine?
I don't know, sir.
Greta! Greta!
As I'm taking you into being, tell me the first
Oh, Mr. Darcy, we were in raptures listening to you.
And he said he had a frog in his throat and couldn't sing.
Oh, Mr. Darcy, what a fit. Don't you annoy him, Mary Jane. I won't have Mr. Darcy annoyed.
Would you like to take time and trifle horse?
Not in the slightest.
Not even in the highest register.
It was a great privilege to hear you, no matter how brief.
One must be very careful in this weather, you see. It affects the vocal
Oh,
cords.
indeed. Remember what Mary Jane was saying about poor Georgina Burns.
Oh, yes.
They say you never pass O'Connell Bridge without seeing a white horse.
I see a white man this time. Did I ever tell you about Johnny and King Billy's statue?
Who's Johnny?
Well, the late lamented Patrick Morkan, my grandfather, was, as you know, a glue boiler.
Your aunt said he had a starchman.
Well, starch or glue. Anyway, he had a horse called Johnny, and Johnny used to work in the mill, walking round and round it in order to drive the mill. And one fine day, the old gentleman decided that he'd like to drive out with the quality to a military review in the park. So he dressed himself out in his best top hat, his best collar, and off he went. And everything went along beautifully until they came to King Billy's statue. And whether Johnny fell in love with the horse King Billy sits on, or whether he thought he was back again in the mill, he started to walk round and round the statue. And the old gentleman, he was highly indignant. He couldn't stop him. He said, Johnny, what's the matter with the animal? Can't understand the beast. Most extraordinary conduct. And he had to get out and walk Johnny home.
Good evening. What room number?
14, please.
14. This way.
You look tired.
I am a little.
You don't feel ill, weak.
Oh, no, tired, that's all.
Freddie Mellons. Poor Freddie Mellons.
What about him?
Poor fella. If I had a mother like that, I suppose I would have taken to the drink, too.
Oh, no. You're far too responsible, Gabriel.
Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me, I think I know what the matter is. Do I know?
Oh, I'm thinking about that song, The Lass of Aughrim.
Well, what about that song? Why should that make you cry?
I'm thinking about a person long ago who used to sing that song.
Who was that person long ago?
It was a person I used to know in Galway when I was living with my grandmother.
Someone you were in love with?
It was a young boy I used to know, named Michael Fury. He used to sing that song, My Lass of Ochre. He was very delicate. I can see him so plainly. Such eyes as he had. Big, dark eyes. And an expression in them. An expression.
Oh, so you are in love with him?
I used to go out walking with him when I was in Galway.
And perhaps that was why you wanted to go to Galway with that Ivors woman.
What for?
Well, how do I know? To see him, perhaps?
He's dead. He died when he was only 17. Isn't it a terrible thing to die so young as that?
What was he?
He was in the gasworks.
I suppose you were in love with this Michael Fury, Greta.
I was great with him at the time.
What was it he died of so young? Consumption, was it?
I think he died for me. It was in the winter. About the beginning of the winter. I was leaving my grandmother's house to come up to the convent in Dublin. And he was ill at the time in his lodgings in Galway. Wouldn't be let out. And his people in Oughterard were written to. He was in decline, they said, or something like that. I never knew rightly. Poor fellow. He was very fond of me. And he was such a gentle boy. We used to go out walking together, you know, Gabriel, the way they do in the country. He was going to study singing only for his health. He had a very good voice. Poor Michael Fury.
Well, and then?
Then, when it came time for me to leave Galway and go up to the convent, he was much worse. And I wouldn't be let see him. So I wrote him a letter saying I was going up to Dublin, would be back in the summer, and hoping he'd be better by then. Then the night before I left, I was in my grandmother's house in Nuns Island packing up. I heard gravel thrown up against the window. The window was so wet I couldn't see out. So I ran downstairs as I was and slipped out the back into the garden. And there was the poor fellow at the end of the garden, shivering.
Did you not tell him to go back?
I implored of him to go home at once and told him he'd get his death in the rain. But he said he did not want to live. I can see his eyes as well.
Did he go home?
Yes. He went home. And after I was only a week in the convent, he died. He was buried in Oughterard, where his people came from. Oh, the day I heard that he was dead.
How poor a part I've played in your life. It's almost as though I'm not your husband, that we've never lived together as man and wife. What were you like then? To me, your face is still beautiful. But it's no longer the one for which Michael Fury braved death. Why am I feeling this riot of emotion? What stirred it up? The ride in the cab. Her not responding when I kissed her hand. My aunt's party. My own foolish speech. Wine, dancing, music. Poor Aunt Julia. That haggard look on her face when she was singing Arrayed for the Bridal. Soon she'll be a shade, too, with the shade of Patrick Morgan and his horse. Soon, perhaps, I'll be sitting in that same drawing room, dressed in black. The blinds will be drawn down, and I'll be casting about in my mind for words of consolation. And will find only lame and useless ones. Yes, that will happen very soon. Yes, the newspapers are right. Snow is general all over Ireland, falling on every part of the dark central plain, and the treeless hills, softly upon the bog of Allen, and farther westward, softly falling into the dark, mutinous Shannon waves. One by one, we're all becoming shades. Better to pass boldly into that other world in the full glory of some passion than fade and wither dismally with age. How long you locked away in your heart the image of your lover's eyes when he told you that he did not wish to live. I've never felt that way myself towards any woman, but I know that such a feeling must be love. Think of all those who ever were, back to the start of time. And me, transient as they, flickering out as well into their grey world. Like everything around me, this solid world itself which they reared and lived in, is dwindling and dissolving. Snow is falling. Falling in that lonely churchyard where Michael Fury lies buried. Falling faintly through the universe and faintly falling, like the descent of their last end, upon all the living and the dead.